This is the Maine Report, a public affairs program produced by the New England School of Communication.
Good morning and welcome to the Maine Report. I'm Jen Richardson, and with me today is animal communicator and energy worker Kathryn Drage, who is here to talk about what she does and how it can help you. Hi Kathryn, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
So tell me, what exactly is it that you do?
As an animal communicator, and it's not that different as energy worker, is that I communicate with animals or other people energetically and intuitively. And it's, I believe, our original language that we all have and we're all capable of doing. Some of us are more open to it than others, and then we have to practice if we really want to do that, to be open to that too. But it's
Right.
open mind and open heart. And I use that to help, basically to help create harmony in a home, usually, if I'm working with domesticated animals. For people call me over if there's a behavioral or health issue. We try to find common ground to see perspective from both sides, and I work with people who have missing animals that have crossed over, passed away. They usually have beautiful messages for their humans as well.
Now, what exactly is Reiki?
Reiki, it's an energy work that we use power. I call it universal power, or power that we all have, that all the energy work that I do, I believe, is a way to raise the vibration for someone else. If, let's say, I'm working with a dog and I'm using Reiki or any other form of energy work, it's just giving them a higher vibration. If they're not feeling well, their health and their vibration is a bit lower, and it gives them something to reach for. So when that is happening, they're the actual healer. I love it that it's an ego-less way of working, because their innate intelligence in their body takes over and does what it needs to.
That's so cool. Now, you said that it's a vibration. Is that something that you can feel in other animals or people?
I do. I don't know that everybody does. I know some people feel it more than others, and sometimes they feel it in a form of heat or cool. Like if we're running our hand over a body without touching it, sometimes we feel there's a block, or there's a cold place or a hot place. And we've all done something like this in some part. Ask a mother about mother's intuition.
Right.
Same idea in that regard.
And what is IET?
That is integrated energy therapy, and that's basically, it's an energy work, much the same, but they who train this, it's about working with angels, angel energy, and we are taking away something that some people would call negative out of somebody, like replacing it with words and then filling it with golden light energy, and they say, the people who train us, that it's working with angels. So I use them all, and whatever, the results can be the same, and I see whatever's in my grab bag and what I use and whatever feels more comfortable to the animal.
Now, I know a lot of people believe that anyone can do these things, that everyone has this ability. What do you think about that?
I believe that we can. It is great to be, when you're attuned to Reiki, there's a way that they open that up for you too. But I believe our number one, we all have the energy of love, and that's stronger than anything. And so when we really have the intention of wanting to help somebody and looking at them as whole and well-being and passing that energy of love, that is the highest one out there, and we're all equipped with that.
Right. Now, are there any techniques that people can do at home? Is it safe for people to try to test this out on their own?
Oh, absolutely. Once again, I'm a big believer in intention. So one of the things that I do is, when you think about somebody that you love very much, whether it's somebody, the person or the animal that you're working on, or is it somebody else that you really love so much, and for me, my heart just fills up and it feels like this amazing vibration. And what I do is take a breath, and I feel that I kind of talk that out of my arms and feel that vibration coming through. And you just hold on gently to the animal in question, and you don't even have to touch them. And sometimes you can do this for someone who's in another state, another town. It doesn't matter, because vibration travels. It's your intention, and it just gives them something to reach for.
Right.
Yeah.
I know one of the most basic things is clearing your energy or grounding yourself. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I think that's so helpful for a lot of people.
It is. Well, especially sometimes when people are beginning this, they're like, I can do this and I can do all these other things, but it's like having possibly like having a drink for the first time. Too much, you don't learn how to
Right.
just behave yourself or take care of yourself. And it's the same thing with energy. You've got to think that it's not about you, it's about the one that you're working with. And you don't want to have any of your, if you're having a bad day, or if you're not feeling comfortable about yourself or anything, you want to clear all that and think. And I usually, especially when I started, would meditate and just sit quietly and listen to my heart, what it really wanted to do. And to clear that up and really think about the well-being of that one in front of me. And if I'm worried about what's going on around me, or if I'm having a bad day, that's a lower vibration, and you're not offering them anything that's helpful.
Now, how did you get started in this? How did you realize that you had these abilities?
Well, there's a beautiful big orange Maine Coon cat that kicked me out of the animal communication closet, and that was probably like 12, 13 years ago. And what happened, he really saved my life. I was ignoring some symptoms, some health symptoms, and I was calling the doctor for him. His name was Clem. He's passed away since. And I was calling the doctor for him, and I heard loud as day, and clear as day in my mind, call a doctor for yourself. And so I did, and it really, if I wouldn't have followed what the doctors have gone, I would have been in a different place right now too. But since then, I didn't want to listen to what medical doctors would tell me right away, so I went to look for alternative healing. So I went to learn shamanic journeying, and that's another form of getting information. And all these other practices, I took a class for, it's called Quantum Touch, and then Reiki. And they had us do things, and I always thought, like, how am I going to do that? Like the journeying, they're going to beat a drum, and then you're supposed to journey and meditate and see these certain things, found your power animal that guides you. And I'm like, how am I going to do that? But it happened instantly. And the more I took these classes, then I had like this flashback that I did this ever since I was a little child.
Wow.
So, and that's when everything started coming together.
That's so cool. And then how does that become a job?
Well, you start having a purpose, just like anybody who has a passion for something. So when Clem passed away, I just learned so many things, what poor things I was doing about nutrition, what he really wanted from his heart. And what he asked of me was not to let his life go in vain. And I really just fell in love with what he had to offer me and how he saved me. And so I do it from my heart. And so anybody can be an animal communicator. It's about being it publicly, that it's got to be a higher purpose. And I do want to help and find harmony, and for people to see the perspective of the animals and what a beautiful world it is and the beautiful messages they have.
That's so incredible. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk more about Kathryn's journey and what she does for her living.
Cinderella found the pet that fits her perfectly. Tiana gave her pet the royal treatment. Belle found beauty where no one else did. And you can too. Share your heart. Share your love. Bring home your forever friend. Make a shelter pet part of your world. Happily Ever After begins at theshelterpetproject.org.
Get caught buzz driving, and you could do some hard time.
Craig, knock it off.
Sorry, Mom.
It could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And that could set you back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to the Maine Report. I'm Jen Richardson. Here today with me is Kathryn Drage. And before the break, we were talking about how you made a job out of animal communication and energy work. Now, what kind of things do you help people and animals deal with through this work?
Well, a lot of times there are behavioral issues, and people come to me and they ask, why is their animal companion so hyper? Why are they, we're going to say a big part of my calls are why they're peeing in inappropriate places, and that's a big one. And there are many different answers for that, and I always, have them check with their vets for that for sure first. But a lot of it's the emotional and cellular memory reasons that people don't realize. And so I help them to see from the animal's perspective. And when they're feeding me information, the animals themselves, a lot of times, and I always say 99.99999% of the time, they're mirroring something in their human companion or in something that's going on in their lives. And it's quite profound why these things happen. And when people have me come over, because a lot of people rescue dogs, cats, different animals, and they have behavioral challenges. And what is important for people to understand is what that is usually why they're here and alive today. That's the one thing that worked for them every time, whether they're a biter, whether they're a runner, they flee and run away. Those are the things that worked for them. Whether they shut down, that's the only thing they could have relied on to get them. So they fall back on that. So we work with different things, and it's always, whether it's energy work or animal communication, any of that, it's not about changing anybody. It's about reminding them of their perfection. And that's what, everybody has this form of PTSD of sorts. So when you're rescuing an animal from a situation, that stays with them. And they're living in the present, but their cellular memory reacts to different things. So I try to help the human see that, and I also help them with some other therapies that I call it word therapy. And in my mind's eye, I see words around an animal's body, and they're always positive in the present tense. And what I do is I have the human say it as an affirmation. And if anybody's familiar with the work of Dr. Emoto, he was a scientist that worked with water when it was frozen. The short version is he took pictures of it, and people would write words around it, and the positive words, the molecules would stick together. And the ones that were negative, the molecules couldn't stick together. So that helps change things in our bodies.
We're just about out of time, but where can people find you online? How do they contact you?
People can call me. They can find me by my website. It's earthtalking.org. And my phone number is 207-462-2360. And I'm always happy and honored to help.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today, Kathryn. Again, you can find her at earthtalking.org. I'm Jen Richardson with the Maine Report.